to the Titans.
Okay.
Desi, well, he's their biggest one.
Absolutely.
Des Hasler. Now, where are they? Gold Coast. Maybe they're under Titans here. Maybe they've been left out of my little sheet. Who have they signed? Where? Gold Coast. Keenan Pulasia, Harley Smith-Shields. They're their only two playing recruitments anyway, and a couple of others have left. So really, they've kept they've strengthened the heart of their squad, which is already a very good one, with Tino and David Fafita in there amongst them. But Des Hasler's the man.
He's the one. I think everyone's seen the potential in the Titans. Extraordinary forward pack, and they've got some great young players in the back line. Just where they fit them all in, who becomes their chief playmaker? Obviously Kieran Foran at 6 takes on that mantle, but he too is getting towards the back end of his career. He's another one of these really senior playmakers who are going to be lost to the game in the next couple of years.
Who do you think will play halfback? They've got a choice between Boyd. They used Weaver towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
Jaden Campbell's even played a bit of 5'8".
Yeah.
Might Foran play halfback?
And I would be the last person in the world trying to second guess what Des does or even advise him. For me, looking at the team, I see a lot of really good 6 options there that Kieran Foran could steer around the field, and with young Keeney, AJ Brimson, and Campbell, it would be disappointing for one of them to miss the team, to not be available and just cooling their heels on the bench or playing lower grade football. You kind of would like all of them involved if you could. I think they're the future of the club. They've got an extraordinary forward pack. They've got great speed on the edges. I mean, Khan Pereira, crikey, he is swift, isn't he?
Oh, he's a beauty. I love watching him play.
But knowing now that Tino and Fafita and Fatawaku and these fellas are sort of locked up for some period of time, it's a team. We saw their potential last year, and I think in a lot of games they held big leads at half-time and blew it in the second half. Their second-half performances were really poor.
It was a record half-time loss against the Dolphins.
They lost their coach halfway through the year. They decided they couldn't tolerate that anymore. And we've seen their potential, but Des, who's a bone and muscle type coach, and he pours the work into them and he demands the best. His attention to detail on everything. He's quirky and he's got his ways, but his ways are winning ways, and they've always won wherever he's gone. He could just be the magic dust that gets sprinkled on this group and helps them understand what winning NRL consistently is all about. And if he can do that, this certainly next year with 2 off seasons under his belt, he will. But Des has got that little bit of magic. Des knows what it takes, and he's got a really good roster. That is a really good roster. I can imagine when Des was out of work, he was looking at that roster and he went, that one, get me that job.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I reckon, because he's actually picked a team that's really on the up and got real potential. And
will they turn up with a defensive mindset this year for the first time ever?
Well, if Des has got anything to do with it, they will. If he's got anything to do with it, they will.
Yeah, because that's what they've needed, isn't it? You've said that a number of times. They've got to have that defensive mentality.
Yeah, my philosophy too is that it's 100% of everything. It's just not a defensive mentality. That your defence starts with your attack. Your defence starts with your ball control and how and where you give the ball back to the opposition and how you control the game and the tempo of the game. So for me, great defence starts with great ball control, great attack, dominating field position and dominating time in possession. And that's one of Des's key attributes is ball control. They can take a lot of pressure off their defence by how well they play when they've got the ball. They've got strike power with the ball, and they can strike from anywhere on the field, but they get very loose, all right, and they get very speculative, and they don't understand the consequence of their actions sometimes, which puts them back under pressure. And they're having to defend too much at their own end of the field, and they just haven't got the defensive mindset to do it. And what happens too with teams like this, particularly young teams like that, because they can score a lot of points, they don't get so resilient in defence because they figure, well, you score 6, we'll score 7, until it doesn't work out like that one day. And what happens, they find themselves in this game, once a side gets you on the back foot, it's hard to arrest it. So even though they had good leads, they'd have 20-point leads, and all of a sudden the opposition would start to come. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to stop it. So I think Des will even that out a little bit. Great defence, for me, starts with great ball control. That's the start of your defence, is your ball control. All right? It's not just about defensive systems and tackling better, whatever you. Everyone defends better at the opposition ends of the field. That's just a given, right? So great defence starts with good ball control and how effective and disciplined you are with possession. They've got no problem scoring points. They can score points, all right? But a lot of the pressure they put on themselves in defence is because they're loose in possession as well. They don't respect it as much. Anyway, that's my take on it. I'm not.
Sounds like you've had a fly on the wall there at Titans training. I love it. He's back.
I'm not the
He's
coach.
back.
I'm not the coach.
He's back talking dirty.
I'm not even a coach anymore. Long retired, Matthew.
It's like an Olympian. You're never a former Olympian.
Long time ago.
He's already said Brimson's going to play in the centres, so he could fit them all in if he played forward at half back, Campbell at 5'8", and Keeney off the bench. That gives him a fair bit of speed, doesn't it?
Yeah. I can see Brimson playing 6 at some stage.
Yeah. Good player.
Yeah, I can see Brimson playing 6 at some stage. I think he would be an absolute, like Keeney and Campbell for me are fullback prospects. Mm-hmm. Campbell might be able to play 6, but defensively, is he ready for that? Brimson's the origin player. Foran and Brimson around with all these young fellas and behind that forward pack excites me. And I'm not saying that's what he's going to do or telling him how to do it, not by any stretch. But when I look at that team, I would gravitate straight to those two as the 7 and the 6. But that's just me. Tanner Boyd's a good young player. He'd be a great young 14 because he can play hooker, he can play halfback, he can play 5'8".
Never misses a goal.
He got a great goal kicker, But that's just my look at it. But I'm a dinosaur. I don't coach anymore, mate.
Come on.